Welcome and thank you for joining us again for the Power Lunch. We have an interesting topic again. It's actually been one of our more popular topics to talk about, and that's Synology. We've had a couple of demos of the Synology storage products that have been very popular and interesting. And we have Erik Lando with us from Synology today, talk a little bit about the C2 product and some of the capabilities there and stuff surrounding that. So, and I believe Erik has graciously has a gift for us for the Wheel of Death.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I've got
the Wheel of Fun, the Wheel of Fun and Happiness.
Yeah.
We haven't had it for a couple weeks, and I forgot that I'm happy and full of joy, and we're not talking about the Wheel of Death. So the Wheel of Fun. But yeah, so thank you for that, Erik.
Yeah.
I will ask Haley, will you be doing the Wheel of Fun and Happiness today? Will you be kicking that off?
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. Very good. All right. Well, without further ado, and then stay tuned afterwards. I know, Erik, you have a hard stop, so we understand that. But after that, we do have the NetVPro after hours session, which we promise is not recorded, and we can talk freely there. So we will do that. But like I said, Erik, we understand that you do have a hard stop. So without further delay, Erik, we can give you control and you can tell us a little bit about who you are and go into what you're going to talk about today.
All right, absolutely. I'm going to start with sharing my screen right now. And can everybody see what's on my screen? Okay. So my name is Erik Lando. Thank you for that introduction. I'm very happy to be here today. And today I'm going to be talking about Surveillance Station and C2 Cloud. And let me just get my, from the beginning, there we go. So today we're going to be taking a broad look at Surveillance Station. And I say broad because I assume you don't want to listen to me talk for 2 hours. I had to condense this content down. At the end of the show, at the end of this presentation, I'll have my contact information. So if there's anything you want to know more about or anything that I show you here that you would like to see again, I'm going to have my email there so that you can reach out. And I'm also going to share some links to Haley so that she can provide it to everyone. That goes, they're actually presentations that were pre-recorded. It's about 2 hours long and it goes into a deeper explanation for all this. But let's get started with Surveillance Station. And let's see. All right, so we took a look at the market and saw some pros and cons to the most popular solutions. We tried to combine the best of the two solutions into one. So you have your pure VMS software, which is more common in large systems and extremely customizable hardware and software-wise. But it usually has expansive license fees and annual reoccurring payments. And then you have the traditional NFR. This is an easy installation, Best Buy special. You know, you're buying your Arlo, your prepackaged NVR solutions. This is good for small to mid-sized camera accounts, but is usually limited with storage scalability. So Surveillance Station really falls in between these options. It's easy to install and manage. It's good for small and large deployments, and it's compatible with almost every camera on the market and can integrate with most existing security environments. So why would you choose Synology Surveillance as your solution? Well, we have a robust storage solution providing options from everyday home use to enterprise level mission critical servers. An abundance of surveillance features from simple motion sensing to advanced facial recognition. We can be a great solution for 3 cameras around your house or 100 cameras in a school. The last bit kind of speaks for itself. Each Synology unit comes with 2 camera licenses, and after that, you will need to purchase licenses for each camera, which is a one-time fee. There are no reoccurring fees or no remote access fees with this solution. So let's take a look at some of the best practices when you're considering speccing out a surveillance deployment. The first thing is choosing your cameras. This can be a difficult decision to make. Luckily, on our website, we list all compatible cameras. However, that may not help you, and I'll tell you why on the next slide. But first, let's take a look at this beautiful image here, this video quality. Obviously, we can all see who that person is and what they're doing. But we want to avoid that. Believe it or not, there's some businesses out there that are still using NVR solutions that give them poor results like this. So when you're choosing hardware, you want to consider these questions. What resolution would you like? What frames per second am I going to run? And how about the video encoding, H.264 encoding versus H.265? These are all things that to think about when looking for camera hardware. Remember a minute ago when I said why our compatibility list might not make your decision easier? This is why. We're compatible with over 130 brands, including over 7,600 models. If you have analog cameras in place and don't want to replace them for some reason, maybe they're just still working for you, well, that's just fine, because we do have a way to connect those to surveillance station as well, by using a video server and a switch to connect it to the NAS. So now that we've chosen our camera, we're just going to assume you've chosen one of the many cameras you can choose from. Let's talk about choosing your NAS. So luckily, every NAS we manufacture can function as an NVR. Now, that does not mean that every NAS can handle every NVR scenario. There is some math involved. That scares me away. I'm not the best at math, but there is some math involved that I will show you later so that it'll make it easier for you to choose a unit. You can also use our NVR selector tool, which I am going to show you, that is located on our website. Make sure to be aware of total frames per second. That is going to be the most important number to keep in mind. That is the number of cameras that you are going to deploy times the highest frame rate that you want to run. On our high-end units, we support up to 128 cameras on a single unit. So these are some other questions you should answer when choosing your hardware. How many cameras do I need today? Right now, I have a camera at each entrance and exit and a couple cameras inside as well. So let's assume I'll need 5 cameras. In the next 3 to 5 years, I know I'm going to be moving to a larger building. My company is growing. So I would at least double the amount of cameras I'll be needing. So I need to keep that factored in when I'm choosing my NAS, because the NAS that you choose is either going to have a 3 to a 5 year warranty, and you're going to want to get that full experience. So the other question is, what is my desired frame per second, resolution, and encoding, like I mentioned before? These are definitely the most important factors to consider, as a simple choice in encoding could nearly double the amount of storage space that you need to meet the requirements for your solution. So let's take a look at the NVR selector tool real quickly on the website. I'm going to quickly stop sharing and open up another screen for you. And we are going to go to the website. Share screen. Sorry about the sharing screen process. There we go. All right, so now we're on our website and we're taking a look at the NVR selector tool that we have here. So first we're going to look at the number of cameras. So first thing, I have 5 cameras right now, but like I said, I think I'll be growing in the next few years. So I'm going to go ahead and double that number and switch it to 10, because that's what ultimately I'm going to have on the unit itself. 30 days to store, that's pretty standard. You can choose longer or shorter. Just remember that's going to affect the amount of storage that you need. And then you also have your daily recording hours here. So 24/7, that's nice, but a lot of businesses I speak to like to actually optimize their storage by only recording only recording throughout the day, and then switching to a motion detection at night, overnight, because you don't want to just record nothing happening for hours and hours at a time. And then we're going to take a look at the video format. So first I'm going to select H.264. So this is something to consider when you're looking at cameras and what video encoding they can do. So we're going to select H.264, 1080p, and we're going to put it at 25 frames per second. And this is because I really care about quality, and I want to be able to see the face of the person that is doing whatever they're not supposed to be doing. So when I click recommend, you're going to see right here that it's going to tell me the bandwidth that I'm going to need to allocate for this. And it's also going to tell me which is 47.1, and then it's also going to tell me the storage that I'm going to need based on the scenario up here. So total disk space, 14.5 terabytes. Now, let's see what happens when I switch it to 265 and hit recommend. That bandwidth gets cut in half, 20.5, and then total disk space is only 6 terabytes. That's why I was saying it's really important to make sure when you're looking at that camera, the video format that it's compatible with. All right. And then if you scroll down, we're actually going to be able to see the maximum supported number of devices. This number right here doesn't mean anything. And I'm going to say that, I say that lightly because it's on our website, so it's supposed to mean something. But honestly, what this is telling you is the maximum amount that unit can handle. So that, think of the unit as a sports car. It's like buying a sports car and driving it 200 miles per hour all day, every day. Probably not safe, probably not going to last that long. So that's why you don't want to do that. So the most important number here is going to be the total frame rate, which is this 1080p, and this is going to tell you the total frame rate that it can support. So let's look at 10 cameras. I said there was going to be math. 25 frames per second, 10 cameras, that one's easy, 250 is going to be my total frame rate. So all of these actually will work, and some give me a little bit more of an option. I like to spec it out to be less than 75%. Typically. So as you can see here, that doesn't make any sense. So 10 cameras, 250 frames per second, but this says it can do 20. It's this, it can do 20 at 15 frames per second. That's how they got that 300 number. So that's kind of just how you would select. I use this as a starting point when I'm looking at things, because it really does just list every single model that we have. And it can just give you a better idea on what your deployment is going to look like. We're going to switch back to the presentation real quick and continue. There we go. Share. Now we're back. So switching back, let's go from current slide. All right. Now let's talk about live view. So in Surveillance Station, live view allows you to customize your viewing experience. So there are plenty of layouts for you to choose from that will allow for viewing up to 100 feeds at the same time, as long as your hardware and network are built to support that. So once your layout is chosen, you can interact with the cameras from this view. You can pan, tilt, zoom if your camera allows it, and you are a user with the appropriate permissions for that functionality. So because you may want to add people to be able to view the cameras within your company, but you don't want them to be able to change any settings or move the cameras or turn the cameras for obvious reasons. Another great thing about live view is it optimizes your bandwidth. So you can set live view to show a lower resolution when nothing is happening, and then automatically bump it up to 1080p when an event happens. As you can see, the top left box looks like someone's peeking in. It's very scary. I need to see them clearly. I'm going to go ahead and select it. Automatically puts it at 1080p, and then I can even put that on full screen as well, so I can see what's happening. And that's what I was going to talk about right here. So as you can see, there's a lot going on in this deployment. They have cameras all over the world, and they're recording a lot of interesting scenarios. But the one that I'm most interested in is in the top left corner, is that deer. I can't believe there's a deer in my backyard. So as soon as I switch to full screen, it's automatically going to pull it up in 1080p. It's going to switch it to the higher resolution so that I can clearly see that deer is standing in my very nice yard. I wish my grass looked that good. So now, what is really important, especially if you're using motion detection, is being able to select the area of concern and areas that you don't care about. I remember my first NVR setup at my house that I purchased was from Best Buy. I think it was an Arlo system. And it gave me a lot of issues because I had trees in the view. And sometimes if the wind blew hard enough, it would let me know there was motion, which was really confusing because I never saw anything on the cameras. Well, after a couple of weeks and thinking I had a ghost, I realized that that was what was happening. It was recording the trees. So as you can see in this slide, I've got a shadow right there, and I've also got some bushes in there. So what I can do is I can select highlight the areas that I want it to monitor, and then erase the areas where I don't want it to, so I don't get a lot of those false alarms that can sometimes happen. And you also have advanced integration with Synology surveillance. So any IP device you can connect to surveillance. So whether that's integrating door control, an IP intercom, or even a POS system. And then lastly, this deep video analytics. Now this is going to be saved for our DVA series, which is a NAS series that is built specifically with surveillance in mind. And what this allows you is some very advanced features. So people counting is huge in retail. I was an account manager for Samsung Mobile for years, and I frequently visited retail locations. And these stores' goals and successes were decided based on traffic in the store. And the people counters I saw at most locations simply counted every time they saw motion in the area of the door, which is okay, but it's not going to be completely accurate, especially when you're focusing your store's success and goals based on the amount of traffic that comes in. So with our deep video analytics, you'll have more accurate people counting, enter and exit numbers instead of recording every single motion, and you can even set up facial recognition so it doesn't count employees. You can also have it pointed at a parking lot and highlight certain parking spaces that you don't want people to park in. So you can be notified if someone's parked where they shouldn't be, maybe a loading zone in front of your store, or if you're using it at a home, maybe your driveway. These are just some of the many advanced features you'll find on the DVA models. But this was just that quick overview of surveillance station as well. Are there any questions before I move on to the C2 part of the conversation? If not, the last part of this presentation will be about Synology C2, our cloud service. So just a brief overview of C2. Securing your data is priority one. So all data is transferred with HTTPS and with military-grade data encryption at rest with AES 256 and RSA 2048 encryption technologies. You can rest assured your data is safe. It's also a flexible file management option. You can restore files on your Synology NAS or on your computers. The dedicated web interface for backup and restoration management makes it easy to retrieve files anytime, anywhere, on any browser. And there are no hidden costs with this service. No ingress or egress fees, no speed limit on data backup or retrieval, and no file size limit. And of course, we have extremely secure data centers. We have two. One is located in Frankfurt, Germany, and the other is located in Seattle, Washington. You get to choose, when you're registering for your account, you get to choose where your data is stored. Now we're going to take a look at a quick demo. Synology C2 is highly integrated with Synology Hyper Backup, providing a consistent user experience from local to cloud protection. So this integration with Hyper Backup allows for multi-version backup to Synology C2 Cloud. You can conveniently locate and restore files with the Hyper Backup Explorer on DSM. All data is transferred securely, like I mentioned before, with HTTPS. And you also have the option for data encryption for even more advanced security. And in addition to just backing up the files, it also will back up files' ACL permissions, system configurations, and even package settings. You'll also get an integrity check, which ensures the restorability of your data. This is a feature that's really important because it can help you find and fix an issue before it becomes a major problem. And you can set up backup statistics, which monitors your resource with customizable notifications. Let's see how easy it is to start a task and connect your Synology NAS to your Synology C2 Cloud. So I am going to open up to my cloud service, or well, actually to my DSM. So here we go, sharing screen again. So here we have the login for my NAS. So I'm going to quickly log in and it'll take me to my desktop. And what I want to do is I want to start a task to back up my surveillance videos to my C2 cloud. All right, so I'm going to go into Hyper Backup, and you can see I already have one task set up. It's going to give me some information on it. It's going to tell me the last successful backup and the next time there's a scheduled backup time. But I want to create a new one. So I'm going to go down here and hit create and go to the data backup task. And I have several options. Hyper backup is a whole nother conversation on its own, but all we care about right now is Synology C2 storage. So I'm going to click and hit next. And this is where the integration really comes in hand. So it's automatically going to open up another window and connect to my Synology account. You would have to log in, but I'm of course already logged into my account here. It's going to show me the amount of space that I've used. It's going to say how much space I have available. And if I had used all of this space, I could actually upgrade right from this window to add more space. So I'm going to hit done. This all looks good. And then I'm going to grant access to my C2 storage from Hyper Backup. And while that loads, it's going to take me back to my desktop, and it now has a directory to send all the information. I'm just going to hit next, and this is real simple. I'm just trying to show how easy it is. For me, my surveillance folder, I'm just going to click that because I already have backup tasks for all the other folders. I go into next. This is where you can back up your applications. I already have those backed up with another task, so I'm just going to skip that. And then this is where I can get a little bit more granular and select task notifications, enable file change detail logs. You can really schedule backups. So for me, I like to run them daily at the end of the day when I'm sleeping, so no one else is needing to use the NAS itself. And I'm going to name this in VR just so it's a different name than the one I already have, and hit apply. And what it's going to do is it's going to ask me if I want to back up right now. Now, I'm not going to put you guys through that, even though there's not that much stuff on there. And I'm going to hit no. And what it's going to do now is it's going to show me my tasks. I don't have a backup yet. Next scheduled backup time, and giving me the option to do a manual backup right now if I don't want to wait for the scheduled backup. And then I can just simply delete it like that. So that's just how easy it is to connect your Synology NAS to your Synology C2 cloud account. Now that we have discussed that, we're going to go back into the presentation and we're going to take a look at the pricing. So Synology users need a flexible cloud backup solution. So for the important data on their NAS, Synology C2 offers 2 flexible plans with numbers of options that will fulfill your needs, various needs. So here you'll see plan 1, which is only recommended really for home and personal use. There are 3 options for storage: 100 gigabytes, 300 gigabytes, and 1 terabyte. You can pay this annually or once a month, whichever you choose. Now, plan 2 is more interesting. It's for power users or more commonly business users like yourself. It starts at 1 terabyte. But let's take a look at plan 1 first. It's a backup solution that fulfills your essential home and personal needs. It offers daily backups with regular retention to protect your data with 11 backup versions for the past 30 days. Regardless of the number of backup versions, only the source data size on your Synology NAS will be calculated into your storage usage on C2 Cloud, bringing you the greatest value. This is a flexible storage solution that you can start small and upgrade as you need. Now, plan 2 offers more advanced backup options, including flexible backup schedules and customizable retention policies to fulfill the requirements of your data protection plan. While all backup versions will be calculated into your storage usage on C2 Cloud, plan 2 exclusive deduplication optimizes storage usage by reducing the impact of copies of files across different backup versions. So for example, a client has 7 terabytes of data to back up. Using another Synology application called Active Backup for Business, they'll pull the data from the endpoint and compress it to optimize storage on their NAS. Then they're going to use Hyper Backup that they set up to a backup task their C2 account like we just did. And with advanced deduplication, your backup is only going to be about 3 terabytes of space. So you've really optimized the amount of space in your cloud versus the amount of space you actually needed to back up. You'll have more frequent, oh, sorry, I totally went through a bunch. You'll have more frequent and flexible backup for various needs. So more detailed restorations for more specific points of time. The plan supports storage demands that are larger than 1 TB. And of course, you can always reach out to us at Synology to provide consultation for any backup plan, but especially for large backup deployments, especially over 200 TB of space. So, and that was just a quick overview of those two programs and a demo of that. Again, my name is Erik Lando. Please make note of my email account right there. And then please visit Synology.com. We have so much educational content on our website. Everything from spot webinars, which we host monthly. They're usually about 45 minutes to an hour long. And they go over the latest from Synology, features and things like that. And we also have knowledge-based articles. I use these knowledge-based articles all the time. They will show you how to do things you never thought of doing on a Synology NAS. This is all located on our website as well as our NVR tool and our compatibility lists and everything like that. So if there are any questions, please let me know and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. But if not, I will pass it on to Haley so that she can do, I believe it was the Wheel of Fun.
Yeah,
Wheel of Fun, yeah.
We did have one question about somebody who has about a 10 TB backup requirement. Is C2 a good fit for that?
Yeah, it's so we will support up to 200 TB, and you can just sign that up from the website itself. And it just kind of depends if the cloud storage is going to be used for archival storage and you're not going to be accessing it all the time, then that's going to be perfectly fine to be a backup solution. If it's something that you will be pulling from on a daily basis, then it could still be a really good solution, but keep in mind the speed transfer between a NAS and your computer is going to be faster than from the cloud itself.
How about if you're talking about data versus object storage? So, files versus photos, for example. Is there one that it works well with versus the other, or are they both work well?
They both work really well. Like for my personal C2 account, I have my endpoints that are backing up to it automatically are my wife's phone, my phone, and her laptop and my desktop. And that usually is just pictures and videos. We just recently had our first child.
You can just work with NetVPro and we can handle all that relationship stuff that we do.
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely highly recommended. So it just makes it easier for you as well. All right, you guys have a good one.
Thank you, Eric.